Alright, the next series of videos for our Geometry Unit 8 are going to be me working out individual examples of each type of prism or shape that we're finding the surface area and volume of. So I'm going to start with maybe the most straightforward one, which is going to be prisms, in particular a rectangular prism. So what makes a prism is that it has a base and another base in the back that are the same. So you can see in this figure, there's a rectangle here, and then if you move to the back of the figure, there's another rectangle in the in behind it. And so this shape is made up of those two bases connected by these lines that you see in the diagonal here. And so all prisms have the same basic process for finding the surface area and volume, regardless of what the base is. So if the base is a triangle, you're going to do the same process but with the triangle. If it's a cylinder, which we're going to get to later, you'll see it's just a circular base. So the base shape has one major role to play, but every other part of the process is the same. So I'm going to write a little step-by-step process, and you have all of this on your notes page, but I want to make sure we understand what each part of this process is. So in order to find the surface area, which is talking about if I were to calculate the area of all the different faces of this prism, that's what I'd be talking about. So when I talk about finding the surface area, it's made up of two parts. It's made up of the base area, which we're going to say is BA, and it's made up of the lateral area, which we're going to call LA. And together, the surface area is equal to the base area plus the lateral area. So in order for us to get to here, we're going to need to first calculate these two items. So the basic formula for these is the following. The base area is the area of one base, make sure I write this correctly, is the area of one base, nope, wrong letter, sorry everybody. The area of one base times 2. So it's 2 times the area of one base. I know that can be a little bit tricky, confusing, we're using the same letter twice, but B here refers to the area of this base here, this rectangle that we use to make our prism. And the lateral area is equal to the perimeter of that base times the H value, which we'll discuss here in a second. So we'll actually just tell you right now. The H value is right here. This is the H. The H is, I don't know, it's used H because it's also called the height, but the altitude is a better way because you'll see later we have another value for height, but we call it the altitude. So it's the distance between the two bases. That's this 12 right here. I'm going to move this a little closer so everyone can make sure everyone can see. So we're going to do 2 times the area of this base, and that's going to be the base area. And then we're going to do the perimeter of this base, and we're going to multiply it times this number, H, and that's going to be the lateral area. Together, that's going to make the surface area. And then what's cool is that actually the volume comes from the same set of values. The volume is going to be the base area, just one, the B, times H. So it's like taking this area of this figure here, this rectangle, and making it go through the entire figure. So you can see that if I can calculate B and P, then everything else comes pretty easily. So I'm going to erase all of this. You have this information in your notes, and I'm doing an example from the notes. So let me erase all of this, and we'll go through step by step, and we'll see what we can get. So let's start with base area. So to find the base area, first I have to find the area of the base. So let me take this out of here, and let's take this base out and say, what is this base? Well, it's a rectangle, and it has dimensions of 10 and 4. So in the last unit, we learned how to do this. And so we're gonna just calculate the area. We should remember, and you can have these formulas on the test, and you'll have access to them, is that the area for this is going to be length times width. right? And that's going to be the area of that base. So then I'm just going to multiply 10 times 4, and that gives me 40 centimeters squared for the B. I'm going to box that and write it very boldly because we need to know that. Next, we need to find the perimeter. And we know the perimeter of a rectangle is 2L plus 2W. So in our case, that's going to be 2 times 10 plus 2 times 4. And that's going to be 20 and 8, so 28 centimeters squared, obviously. I'm going to go and put that, I'll put a P above that, and we'll box that so we remember it. So actually now I have everything I need to jump right in and find the values of area and surface area really quickly. So I'm going to see if I can fit this. I'm going to move this down a little bit for us so you can see the whole thing. So now I'm going to go here and I'm going to say, okay, the base area, the BA value, is 2 times B, which for us is 2 times 40. So it's 80. Okay, so that's my BA. So I'm going to go and write surface area down here and say we know that surface area is 80 plus something else. And that something else is the lateral area. The lateral area, again, use your notes to do this, is the perimeter times the height. Our perimeter was 28. And we're going to multiply it times 12. I'm going to zoom back up here. The 12 is the H that we're using. So it's 12. I'm going to calculate that real quick. 28 times 12 is 336. And so that's this, 336 equals 80 plus 336 is 416 centimeters squared. So that's the value for the surface area. So I want to walk through that process again real quick so we make sure everybody's understanding what we're doing. In order to find the surface area, we need to find the area of the base. If this was a triangle, I would use all the formulas for triangles. If it was a parallelogram, a trapezoid, whatever shape this is, I'm going to use the formula for that shape. But we had a rectangle. So we did length times width, 10 times 4, 40. Then we found the perimeter, 2L plus 2W, 28. Then I put those into the formulas that you have on your notes page. The Prism notes is the one I'm talking about. And then I plugged that in, got these answers, added the answers to find the surface area. Okay? And then I'm going to do a quick erase here because I want to go ahead and fit all of this information on one. So let's say we got our base. All I have to do to find the volume, I already have everything I need. The volume is the base times the height. So then I do 40 times 12. (40 times 12 is the volume. And I'll calculate that. 40 times 12. 480. 480 centimeters cubed. That's new because in geometry or in any math, when we have a volume measure, we use to the third power because it's 3 dimensions. We're measuring a 3-dimensional measurement. All right, so that's the end of that video. You guys just need to email me if you have questions. I can work more examples if the requests come in for that, but I'm going to move on and do the triangular prism next, and then I will post those videos shortly.